Hi, my name is John Petty, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Growing Up in Flip Flops. This episode I've entitled Get a Straw. As my father passed away when I was 5 years old, I only remember a couple interactions with him, and this is one of them. One of my father's habits was every Saturday or Sunday, I don't remember which it was, he had a friend over. And he and the friend would sit out on our front porch in rocking chairs, each have a beer and sit there just watching life's grand pageant pass in front of our house and sit and talk. My mother always kept me away from them because this was, I guess, my dad's quiet, private time with his friend and didn't want to be pestered with kids. Well, for whatever reason, on this particular day, my mother let me go out and be with my father, and I wanted to sit in his lap, climb up while he was sitting there with his friend. Well, he had this can of Budweiser beer, that will be important later, that he was holding, and I asked him, what is that? And he told me it was beer. I asked if I could have some. He looked at me and said, well, go in the kitchen and get a straw. I remember climbing down off his lap, running into the kitchen. Straws were in a box up in one of the cabinets, and I went over to the kitchen table and grabbed one of the chairs and pushed it over against the countertop, climbed up on the chair, climbed up on the counter, opened the cabinet door, got a straw out, and then reversed the process and came running back to my father and climbed back up on his lap. And he took the straw from my hand and put it in the opening in the can of Budweiser. And then he looked at me and said, take a deep breath and suck in as much as you can. Well, this was a wonderful thought to me that, I'm sharing this with my father. So I did what I was told, and I pulled in a mouthful of Budweiser beer into my 5-year-old mouth, and I nearly died. Oh my God, this stuff is horrible, whatever. I don't remember if my father and his friend were laughing or anything at my discomfort, but I remember thinking, this stuff is absolutely horrible. Oh my gosh. I can even remember the smell of it and not liking that. Well, let's fast forward a few years, and I remember in high school there would be kids at a party that would have, God knows where they got it, beer or something, and they would have a beer and want to hand it to me, and all I could remember was that horrible taste of that Budweiser that my father had had me taste when I was 4 or 5 years old. I wanted none of that beer. No thanks, and it was not any kind of a religious or moral stance that I was taking. It was solely based on remembering that absolutely disgusting, horrible taste that I had. That went through all of high school. I never drank beer in high school with any friends. Hey, more for you. I'm happy for you. It even lasted into college. I just stayed away from college. It was probably, I was in my mid to late 20s that I was able to bring myself to have a beer, and I will assure you, it had nothing to do with current day politics or anything like that. It wasn't a Budweiser. To this day, I will not drink or touch a Budweiser product. One point that I did learn while I was at university in a psychology class was that if you want to positively or negatively reinforce any behavior, do it with food. And I can guarantee you that negative reinforcement I received at that young age of the, to me, disgusting taste and smell of Budweiser beer has stuck with me all these long years. Now, I really don't want you to think that my father was this evil man having this young child take a big, long draw of beer through a straw, but I will tell you, it had a lasting impact to this day, and it's something I really have no interest in ever repeating. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next week. Bye.